Travel days don't always go as planned. Delays, cancellations, crowds, packed gates. Stress builds before your trip even begins. But what if it didn't have to feel like this? What if you could start your journey calm, refreshed, even comfortable? Come with us as we escape the chaos.
Please like and subscribe to our channel. We're in Atlanta at the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, and this is the American Express Centurion Lounge. This lounge, located at Gate E11, spans over 26,000 square feet, offering both indoor and outdoor seating. This modern space designed for comfort features a beautiful 50-year-old olive tree as a centerpiece. When it comes to food, there's something for almost everyone, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or have dietary restrictions. Everything is thoughtfully prepared and frequently refreshed. Drink options include handcrafted cocktails, a wide selection of spirits, and non-alcoholic beverages like coffee, tea, and sparkling water. Or if you're like us, maybe just a little champagne to kick things off.
It's not just about food and drink. The atmosphere here is quiet, calm, and a welcome escape from the crowded concourses. This area is called the Terrace, and it's absolutely beautiful. You'll find two full bars, including the Premium Reserve by American Express Whiskey Bar.
Cheers!
All right, let's get to it. Let's review the American Express Centurion Lounge, located at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport at Gate E11. What can I say about this lounge? Wow. First of all, let's say we were able to gain access using our American Express Delta Reserve credit card. Also have to have a same-day boarding pass for Delta, which we did. We were traveling out of Atlanta, heading to DTW that day. There are other ways to enter, of course. The American Express Platinum card and business and personal cards versions of that, as well as the American Express Centurion card, which is also known as the Black card. So let's talk about it. Today we're going to rate a few things like we typically do. We're going to rate food and drink, comfort. We're going to rate the convenience and the ambiance of this particular place. So let's start with food and drink. With food and drink, first let me say that they had a huge spread. It was 2 bar areas, 2 food areas, and it was just tremendous, right? So we were there for breakfast time, and they just had a variety of things. It looks like you could have got things for if you were a vegan or vegetarian, or they had things that for dietary restrictions for certain individuals, right? So gluten free, for example. So yeah, it was great. And what I ate, and I did eat pretty good. It was very tasty. I enjoyed it. The beverages, they have a full bar, and I mean it's one of those modern bars like you see in New York City or in downtown Atlanta or Chicago, for example, and it was just nice. In addition to that, they had the Reserve, which is their whiskey bar, right? So it's a dedicated whiskey bar. Now, because we were there at breakfast time, we chose not to get whiskey. It was pretty early. It was too early for that. However, we did have mimosas, and they were very good. The service was excellent, and I would just say food and drink for me. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5.
You know what I really enjoyed about the food and drink was the options. Of course, you mentioned that, you mentioned about the different dietary needs. That was awesome. Gluten-free stuff for vegans, vegetarians. And I too love my protein like you do. And I do love my carbs. I did have my croissant. But what I really like was also the attention to detail and how they replenished the food. Everything was very fresh and they were constantly replenishing. So you never felt like you always felt like you were getting a fresh food. It tastes fresh. And of course, the drink options, I give that a 5. I give that a 5 all day. So I agree with you on that.
If I go next to comfort, where do I start? Comfort wise, this particular lounge had big plushy chairs with charging stations built into them and portals. They had different types of chairs, indoors, outdoors. The outdoor area, which was called the terrace, which is the greenery, where you could see like the planes pulled up to the gate, and they had the nice ceiling fans outside in case it was extremely hot, which it wasn't. It was comfortable that particular morning. But just if you wanted that experience, or if you wanted to go inside one of those private like rooms, or I guess you want to call them like a work booth, they had those. So if you wanted to grab something and then go in there and make a call, you could do that and block out all the extra noise out there. I would say that it's got a ton of options for seating. There were some seats that were the way they had them turned and positioned that you had some privacy, even though you might have had a neighbor only a few feet away from you, but it felt more private just by the way that they had it set up. They did an outstanding job doing that. So I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5 stars.
Also the comfort. Yes. Oh my goodness. The thing I love most about the American Express is that that lounge, you could actually get a little piece of nature. You're at an airport, and who would think the green space to me was so tranquil. I love that space. But then if you wanted to do something where you're just sitting kind of inside, the way that, like you said, the way that the chairs were angled, that you felt like you're kind of by yourself, or you could be at a table with a group. So there's a lot of options, which is great for travel. So comfort, I'll give it a 5.
Convenience. Okay, let's talk about convenience. When we arrived at E11, it was probably 10 to 12 people in line in front of us. Now, I will mention that they do have a dedicated line for the black card members. So they could go to the left and just go right up, and they had a dedicated person to check them in, that's a great service. But we were in the regular line, and in the regular line with 10 to 12 people in front of us, we were inside within 10 minutes. And the only reason it took 10 minutes is because when they realized that this was our first time actually coming to the lounge and entering it, the person at the desk started giving us the rundown on what's inside and how old certain things were inside and why they did certain things. So it was like informative. So he didn't rush us in, even though there were people in line behind us. He was very informative. He was very polite. Service was top notch. And for that convenience, I have to give that a 5 stars.
And then as far as convenience, I mean, having your access to a lounge before a flight is everything. I love the fact that, no matter how many people, when we got there, they were so courteous and kind, as you mentioned, when we walked in. But then you could pretty much have your pick of seats, even with the amount of people that were there. And it was fairly busy on that travel day, which was a Saturday. But you still felt like you had a place to go. You didn't feel like you were crowded in once you got inside. So I give that a 5.
Okay, ambiance. I think I kind of already alluded to this. This place was decked. I mean, it was just beautiful. The artwork, the woodwork, the old tree in the middle when you first come in, which is, I've never seen anything like that before, but that was awesome. And I think they did an outstanding job. Just not to harp on this, but they get a 5 out of 5.
And then, of course, for ambiance, the ambiance, I did enjoy, like I mentioned, the spaces, and I enjoy the fact that you have options. And it had a nice little kind of vibe, like a jazzy vibe, kind of a very upscale vibe. And I agree. It reminded me of and put me in a mindset of being in a nice urban setting at a nice kind of one of your favorite little cocktail bars if you're going to the cocktail area, or your favorite coffee shop even. It was just had that nice vibe. I give that a 5 as well. So
The lounge was absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed myself there with you, and I love the fact that at breakfast they had the mimosas. That was very special as well. So if you wanted a little something extra, they offered that, and they also were very courteous and kind. I love that about every single server we encountered, no matter if they were at the front desk or if they were restocking food or serving drinks. Everybody was so kind and courteous, and I enjoyed that as well, and the cleanliness too as well. So I give it a 5 overall ambiance. So it definitely was a great experience, and I would definitely go back to that.
So there you have it. The Centurion Lounge at ATL definitely blew us away. 5 out of 5 in every category, and this gets the High Tides and City Rides seal of approval.